I've been a resident of Boise, Idaho for over 800 years. I just don't get why this always happens to me every single time.
Oh, come on, guys. You get it. You get it, right?
Hello, and welcome. And this is terrifying. Oh my God,
that's so funny. I love it.
Thank you, Graham. I'll just cut right to the chase. He gave me this because he heard about my barbecuing experience.
Yeah, and he needed an apron.
You need an apron if you're going to do that. So thank you to Graham in the UK for hooking it up. Graham and his wife. So,
well, stand up so everybody can see what it is. They really need to know.
When I saw this package, it only had the flag on it.
I saw the package. I was very impressed myself.
I did not see the rest of it. So this is very aspirational.
I love that. I love it.
It's a good package.
Yeah,
it's a good package. Okay, so anyway, I'm Dane Anthony, central host here. To my right, Levi Gates, right host.
Right host.
Yes, I'm mixing it up today.
Okay,
and on the left host slot, we've got Anthony Fisher.
Hey, Dane, thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
Welcome. So
that's good.
Today is going to be a number of things. I mean, it's going to be a recap episode about the UK for us. Mm-hmm. But I want to make sure you have a chance to cover all the stuff that happened while we were away. This is going to be like a longer episode.
Nothing.
Well, and then you got some paperwork that's very important that
I have paperwork.
Talk about. You got some paperwork in the mail that really just finally brings something to a conclusion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That we've literally been waiting years for.
Yeah.
So
it's good stuff.
We'll get to that in a second. But first, housekeeping. What do we got going on? What's happening in the world of TRC? There's a lot of trucks out there.
Well, there is a lot of trucks, Dane. Thanks for having me. So, housekeeping specialist here. I'm wearing a mask because I've been around some sickness, and I am not sick, but I've been around it, so I'm just trying to, courtesy thing, you know what I mean? But anyway, so jumping into this week, we are, actually today we're having a little town hall meeting, which is going to be pretty exciting. And then for the last week or two, we've been busy. I mean, everything from the packing department to the marketing, media department, everything like that. We've been doing some restructuring, right? Some office restructuring. So everything's just been getting flopped around. We finally have our media building, I think.
It's close.
Pretty close.
Where we almost won it, right? So that's pretty good. But with that said, there's all these other buildings around here that are still getting torn up and still getting organized, and I don't know. I mean, every time
our new storefront's being assembled too.
Yeah, and our new storefront, which is pretty crazy because that's felt like it's taken forever. And
it's finally got walls up.
I need to walk over there.
Yeah,
pretty crazy. Go check out the progress. But that's going on, and we had Justin Pate here over the this last week.
2 weeks.
Shooting videos and shooting content for the Rap Institute and for some collaboration stuff here with us here at the Rag Company. And then on top of that, we hit 100,000 followers on Instagram, which actually happened about a week ago while we were gone on our trip. But we finally got to celebrate. And so thank you to everybody that either commented on our post or congratulated us or whatever it may be. We celebrated with a 100 cake. For 100K.
Yeah.
And that cake, we picked that up at Pastry Perfection here in Boise, Idaho. Delicious. Very cakey confetti cake with that beautiful buttercream frosting on the top. Everybody got to eat their fill, and unfortunately, there's still half a cake left.
It's a big cake.
It was, maybe it was too big of a cake, but we needed it for the full effect, right?
Yeah. It was a lot of cake.
But so 100,000 followers, which is just amazing. So we're going to hopefully keep that going. And then maybe we can celebrate with 2 cakes. 200 cakes.
Okay, that sounds like a good idea.
Wow.
Maybe we could do like.
I'm interested.
Maybe we could do ice cream cakes next time.
No, I hate ice cream cake. That is gross. But I will say though that we picked 2 winners from the giveaway there that are going to be getting our deluxe microfiber detailing kit as well as 2 of our ultra clay lines. So I'm going to be sending those out here, I think today. And overall, I mean, that's been pretty much it. I mean, we got back from the UK. Yeah. I don't know if this is the episode where we're recapping this. I mean,
this is
episode 300.
Yeah.
I'm thinking we pull out our inner 300, right? Leonidas, right?
Yep.
Maybe we even dip into
Leonidas, Antonius, and Danathan.
And Danathus.
That doesn't sit right.
Deniathan.
Oh, you can't call me Danus because that sounds bad.
Well, let's call you Danus.
It's fine. It's fine.
Danus.
Danus. Yes, yeah.
It worked that
And
way.
like me and you were gonna have the cool weapons, and Dane it's like the
Why are you
oddball.
carrying around a giant plug?
Yeah, yeah. So,
it's a
so
club.
how are you gonna attack people
Oh,
with this?
no.
I'm not sure.
It's a club.
I'm gonna hit you. No, you're not.
Oh, it's too funny. So
God.
anyway, yeah, it's
Dinkules says
episode
one. I mean,
episode
it's right
300,
there.
pretty crazy, right? Yeah, I can't believe we've done this 300 times, not including the Q&A.
Yeah, no.
Not including the Q&A.
the Q&A is a
Q&A.
separate 234. If
That
I'm
is
not mistaken. Or
crazy.
224. Yeah, sorry.
That is
Who would
crazy.
have thought? Who would have
We've
thought?
sat in
done a
these
lot
same
of these
chairs
shows.
over 300 times easily.
Yeah.
Right, which is pretty crazy. I don't know what else we've done. This table hasn't really changed for many years.
No, at
I
some
feel
point
like-
it will.
I feel like there needs to be a celebratory change every
Well,
100
the intro
episodes.
is different now. The intro is new.
I'm excited
As
about the
people
intro.
saw that,
Yeah,
they
new intro.
enjoyed little sound snippets and things.
Wisdom.
What would you guys like to see? You
Yeah.
guys watching here in the
What do you guys
comments,
think?
leave a comment or maybe a suggestion on the Rad Comedy Podcast Facebook group. Like, would you want to see any different decor in here? Would you like to maybe see some different colors? Maybe some mid-century fans that you
that'd
can
be
hang
fun.
from.
This
I
one's
do-
freezing me out,
I have
man.
a-
I'm
I
starting
have
to
a
get cold.
very-
I'm loving this. This
a
feels
very
great.
out there concept for what could happen, but it involves so much change. I'm not sure it's going to happen right away. But I've been talking to Nick about it.
Okay, what's your thoughts?
Well, if you've ever watched like those Hollywood Reporter roundtables or anything like that, where they have like a very dark room, but then it's a well-lit table
Dun,
in the
dun,
middle of the
dun,
room
dun.
with the celebrities talking and stuff, that kind of podcast environment, we could do that out in the studio. We could have a mobile platform that we have people like get up onto a stage with a round table and it's lit from the sides and you've got all your cues and stuff. Like, it would be pretty cool.
Seems like a lot of work, Dane.
Well, Nick was excited because it meant a lot more switching. You get a lot more angles.
Oh,
Yeah.
You like switching.
He's
More
looking.
things
He's
to
looking
do.
for a little bit of that fun. He wants to be a
more
switch
clicking
hitter.
of the switches.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe something like that, right? There's the other podcasts that feature couches, right?
Yeah, or
I
chairs.
never really
with,
know-
with the microphones. That come to
Very
their mouth.
relaxed. Yeah, the mic is basically dangling like grapes being handed.
I
to them
wonder,
by a
are
servant.
those
Delicious.
too relaxed? Is that too relaxed of a podcast position for many people to be able to be engaged?
Well,
right?
but see, this show, the podcast versus a Q&A, two different environments. I would say Q&A, despite all the jokes, is meant to be the more professional one. This one is meant to be kind of our hangout, talk about our weekends,
Yeah.
that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So
Interesting.
it might require a different vibe in terms of set too.
Okay, so how about we
Yeah.
do this? We're gonna get started. We're gonna do a short weekend recap, and then we're gonna jump into things you didn't know about the UK by
I like that.
Dane and Anthony.
Yeah. That sounds great.
Something like that.
I haven't done this. I haven't thought about it at all. Like, you're just coming at me with this, so we're gonna have to figure it
All
out
right.
on the spot.
Why don't we
all right.
start it off with what I've been doing?
Okay, what do you
Yeah,
do?
what do you
So this weekend has been a very busy weekend, mostly just for the fact that my sister got married. So had a ton of family in town for that. I took last week off and spent the day at home with the kids. I got the Suburban tinted, and I got all the vinyl taken off the Suburban. So Ragnarok is now back to pewter,
Oh,
standard color. But I did get all new tint. Looks great. Really excited about it. People screaming and yelling out there in the
Okay.
office. We don't know what's happening.
very.
But basically, got my truck cleaned up. Got to hang out with my kids. Spent the week doing stuff with them, which was great. And then on Saturday, out of the blue, popped in the mail. I walked out to the mailbox to get the mail,
Okay.
and I pulled. And you'll notice from the Rag Company podcast discussion group, I unveiled a piece of paper, a document, the title to the red truck. It's finally been delivered upon unto me, as I shall say,
Yeah.
which means I'm still in the cheap car challenge.
Oh my God!
We put a time limit on
it's
that
been
thing.
years.
There was
So
an end
I
to
will
it.
start the
There's
bidding
no
at 10
way.
grand, 10K. You can pick up that truck because I'm going to win.
No,
I wanna
The
win.
rules stipulated. A
It's
time
been
limit.
2 years since we've finished that.
Yeah.
And I
can-
feel like, finally
a
I'm able to
participation
catch up
trophy.
now. And, maybe we'll get a camera back out. We'll reshoot that last episode
Hey, Tim, get back here.
where I can get But no, so it was super cool though. I can't believe that I got that title in.
I'm very happy for
We
you.
had some fans that helped along the way, which I'm very thankful for. Keith and Teresa out of Twin Falls. Teresa's an actual title investigator and fan of the program. So
Wow.
she helped along the way to get that all the way through, so we can finally get it to where I have it now. So I can
Excellent.
finally start fixing up the truck a little bit, put it back up for sale, and we'll see what happens. So that was really cool. And then on Sunday I did a vehicle. I got a detail in just to get in and get done. I finished it last night. Dana cleans.
Just, I can just imagine G. Davis saying Danis.
Sorry, I'm not trying to totally distract from your commentary, but I'm really enjoying just like allowing this to play out while you talk about your
I
week.
love this. So great. So, but got the truck. I got a Tundra interior to do, so that was nice. The outside, holy cow.
Yeah.
I'm really glad I'm not doing the outside of this black Tundra. This is someone's 2019, 2019, newer body style.
Okay.
That, I think it's 2018.
Well,
has
you say
never-
newer body style. This is like the new
Not the
one.
newest body
Okay.
style.
So like
but a newer.
Nate's
Nate's
then.
body style.
Okay, yeah.
Black has been run through the car wash, Mr. Car Wash, and not touched. Like, cared for, protected, it just ran through a car wash.
Okay.
That's it. For that whole time period.
Yeah.
So we're talking 5 years now, and that paint has deteriorated so much. It's surprising to me.
What car wash are they going through?
Mr. Car Wash.
Huh.
They're just going through. But it's
So the
buying
paint
a car.
quality is the questionable part. Like it's degrading so fast, it feels unusual.
Yeah. Well, no, it's because of the fact that they are washing a black truck through a car wash.
Okay.
Now, they are not probably doing anything else.
Right. No protection.
You're saying-
They're not taking it through maybe once a week. They're taking it through maybe once a month. But they're not caring about anything else on it.
Right.
So it's been egged. It's been hit by
no.
sprinklers for
Okay.
long periods of time over one side.
So this is a family truck, or this is a contractor truck? 'Cause this
No,
is
this
sounding
is
more like a
the
contractor
interior
truck.
was actually not that bad
Oh, well,
to
yeah.
detail, right? But the outside, it's just a person who is going through some problems, and their friends got together and said, "Hey, we're going to clean up their truck, but we really only want to clean the inside because the outside's pretty rough."
Okay.
And I looked at it and go, "Oh yeah, this is really rough." So, but it just surprises me that in 5 years, how bad and how quick that can deteriorate and die off, paint wise.
Yeah.
So it behooves you to, for people to learn how to take care of their vehicles, keep them clean, because not just keeping them clean can help. This is someone who just isn't paying attention to it.
Right.
It's just an out exterior. So that was kind of fun to see. Wedding was great. My sister got married up at the train depot.
Oh, cool.
One of the
Depot,
great things about the Boise Train Depot is it's 100 years old this next year.
You remember it being built, actually.
Right.
Yeah,
exactly.
no, you were there at the founding, so.
So one of the neat things was I got to take Augie up in the elevator.
Ooh.
Took him up, showed him a brick that I had placed 100 years ago.
Holy smokes, that's
Yeah,
crazy.
in the bell tower.
Being a resident of over
Up there,
800 years.
showed him. I
yeah.
said, "Hey, check this out. This is where I put my carved my initials in it." And he was like, "Cool, that's rad." And then he carved his initials.
I was
in
gonna
there.
say, probably without
and then
prompting, he was
the
ready to carve.
security guard was like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa! You can't be doing that." I said, "It's fine. I already did mine 100 years ago
100 years ago, when I was here at the
when I set this brick."
what's that called when they break
The
ground?
the groundbreaking.
The groundbreaking ceremony.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then I explained to him what it was like. That there was a foundry out front here back in the day, and the Davis apple orchard was still quite large.
We just
And
could
then-
steal apples over there.
Yeah,
at the
you could
Davis
just take
Apple
it.
Orchard.
Yeah, and then when you'd pick up the mail because it would land over here on the left-hand side, which is where the current Catherine Albertson's park is. To
Right.
the left, you could see that was at one time used to be the airport. And so I would say the mail would get dropped off over here. we'd grab some apples over this way in the orchard.
And that was a day.
Yeah, that was just a normal day. I'd grab that stuff and then cruise back over.
Crazy.
Yeah.
And then they kind of got confused and then asked me if I would please leave the top of the tower.
Freaking
Sir, if you would just follow us.
So anyway, went back down, but a great wedding, beautiful wedding. Super fun to see all my family. Had a blast with them in town, and it was fun. Had my sister and her husband and all that. So super exciting. But here, like you guys got to see, that we talked about a little bit on Thursday, we did do a full change of our office area. Cubes are gone, desks are in. I think you guys have you've all each acclimated. You've unpacked.
Yeah.
Kind of got your spaces set up.
Yeah.
You've got your supercharged fan set up.
Right.
Nice and cool now.
Yes.
Not overheating anymore in the back corner like you used to do.
Thank goodness. I will say, the air just gets stagnant and collects in the corner, and it gets hot back there.
Yeah.
Because, I don't know if people realize that we're inside of a tin can of a building.
Yeah.
And the insulation, while it works in the winter decently enough, in the summertime, boy, we cook in here. It's not like the concrete buildings over there where it stays very insulated. So it's kind of a difference.
Yeah. But that's been it. So
Yeah, that's great.
tell me all about Foggy London Town.
Well,
Anthony, I really want you to tell the story.
But we're going to jump into our other weekend. I mean,
You got your weekend
Dane,
stuff.
did you do anything over the weekend?
I mean, I had a number of just like little things. It was exciting in its own way. My folks finally moved into their new house. Very exciting.
Nice.
I helped them move a few things. Went over and chatted with them for a little bit. Apart from that, though, no, I was making an express cafe run,
Oh, that's a long run.
as one does.
No
But I
way.
find it therapy. I enjoy that.
That's
drive.
almost a bandit run.
When was
Eastbound and
when was
down.
your most
Yeah.
recent Express Cafe run to this one?
Apart from this one?
Yeah, apart from this one.
It was like 2 weeks before you guys left for the UK.
Yeah, it was like a week before we
So
left
you're
for the
still
UK.
somewhat consistent
Yeah.
in at least visiting your friends
Oh,
over
yeah,
there.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so whenever
Love
you're
those guys.
driving through downtown Meridian, beautiful downtown Meridian,
Do you take the
Does it-
Jag for this run or the Flex?
Yes, that's part of the story I'll get to.
does it remind you of your old days living in Meridian?
Sure.
It feels good now because he's got a house on the hill and he's got a newer Jag.
Right, well,
You can look
okay,
down on
so
the peasants in
Yikes.
Meridian
Yep.
with their older
not
jets.
that.
Yeah, but they're older Jags.
Oh boy. So, anyway, I was taking my drive to get to Meridian,
Yeah.
as one does. I really like taking the Hill Road route because it's windy.
So how do you do Hill Road?
So
to-
basically,
to
I take
Meridian?
Hill Road all the way until you get over to like Siemens Gulch. You take that, and then you take the big wavy road that leads up by Optimus Fields. Then you
Yeah.
cross over that, and you get to Highway 55. Turn onto Highway 55. Speed limits 55, but you can go faster. You can take the corner nice and
Yeah,
fast.
yeah.
Oh,
get
you
into-
like to
yeah.
whip around by the Home Depot.
Yeah, no. So I look
There,
for the
I see.
opening and
Yeah.
I shoot the gap.
Nice.
You know, and that's
Yeah.
why the Jag was fun for.
Yeah, I can
make
see
a little
that, yeah.
noise. Spoiler comes up. Okay, but then as I make my way there,
Then you get to the other Highway 55. And
I'll
you
drive
go up.
quick, but I'm very
Or Eagle Road.
respectful. I give people their space. I'm not like running up behind people and like sitting on their butt. You know, nothing.
flashing
like
your
that.
headlights
Yeah,
and
no,
honking at
I'm
'em.
not. I'm not
Yeah.
a jerk.
Like
so,
telling people to pit.
Yeah.
but
You're
I
like,
like
Yeah.
to,
Pit lane.
well,
Yeah.
I like to drive enthusiastically
Yeah.
when I have the right time and place to do it. But yeah, in this case, it was a pick your battle, and the battle was there, and I went
Okay,
for it.
and
So it was
the
fun.
battles getting to Express Cafe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well,
was.
but
well,
then-
before the cake donuts get
before
sold
the
out.
cake donuts get
But
sold out
then-
because they only get made once a day.
Yeah.
But then it turned into a slightly different kind of battle.
Oh my
So,
God.
Oh, no.
as I made my way over, I had a couple of options. I could either take, once again, this is like local politics, local baseball with like the streets and stuff. But all you have to know is I can either go out into the boonies and then turn left on Linder, or I can go up Eagle Road, which is the busiest road in the state. And that one, it's not very fun. It's just stop, light, drive, stop. Like the speed limit's high enough, but at the same time, you're constantly stopping. It's annoying. So I decided to go up to Linder, made my way up, and as I was just past where the Fred Meyers is, like up by your house kind of area, Eagle Island, Fred Meyers, I was crossing over and I was starting to go up the road there, and there's this F-350, like I would say a 2005 or 6 Ford F-350 Super Duty, and it was this kid driving it. He had a dirt bike strapped in the back. It was a long bed, crew cab. Like it was a big truck, but it was like, I imagine this guy was like kind of a Luke Berge type, except unlike Luke, he wasn't very nice. So he was basically just rolling coal on everybody in traffic and
Well,
generally being kind of
yeah.
a jerk. So I saw that and I was like, it's not super cool. But then somehow he wound up getting stuck behind a few cars and he wound up behind me. But I paid it because, you look out for the trouble drivers as you look around. You're like, that guy might be a bit of a
red flag. Yeah.
I'm going to look out for that guy. Well, sure enough, as people are shuffling through the traffic there on Linder, it's like several churches and schools on the way up to get to Fairview, Cherry, that thing.
Well, Linder's you took the wrong road. Linder.
So I took Linder.
I'm not a Linder fan.
So but I used to use Linder all the time because my neighborhood was connected to it, so it was easy to use.
I call that the other side of the railroad tracks.
Well,
it is.
They built it out since, so now the speed limit there is about 40, and it's
Linder's the road that we drove on for the first TRC video, right?
No.
What road is that?
No, we crossed it, but we didn't actually drive up it.
Oh, we crossed it.
So Linder, basically, it's not like all the way out to the Meridian Costco, but it's
I don't
all the way
know
that
Meridian.
Way. Okay. So anyway, I'm boring people who are watching.
Farmland.
The point is, I've got this troubled driver in an F-350 blowing smoke at people.
Yeah.
And he couldn't be older than maybe 20, 21.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he's got the dirt bike in the back. So yeah, I'm making some judgments about what type of kid this is.
Sounds like a pretty cool kid.
Sounds like a kid's got some money.
Yeah. And he's gonna have some fun.
Yeah.
Let's just say this was an early Super Duty. He could have picked it up for cheap.
Sounds like a kid that's gonna, be an early dad.
Possibly. If he isn't already.
All right.
Okay, anyway.
So yeah, the kind who left for milk and never came back. So in this case, he's kind of making some squirrely, shooting the gap and just like cutting people off, and so he's just being weird in traffic.
Yeah.
It's like, eh. So I see him in my rear view, and I'm like, oh great, he's behind me now. And as I'm looking ahead, you know how these stories, like recently, not to bum everybody up, but there was a kid hit by a dump truck over by Albertsons, crossing the street on a scooter. There have been several incidents lately in Boise of people running red lights, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. I'm always super conscientious of pedestrians on crosswalks and stuff like that.
You are very conscientious.
I want to make sure people get home safely because you could not live with yourself having done that if you weren't paying attention. It's a horrible, horrible feeling. I can only imagine. Well, sure enough, going up, all these churches and schools, there's crosswalks with lights and everything, and the yellow light starts flashing. I got all this traffic behind me, but I'm in the lead.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I'm not in the lead. I got one car in front of me, and it's like just far enough ahead I could go or I could stop. I have enough room to stop, so like it's blinking yellow. There's like a small family of kids, but they don't have their parents with them. It's just the kids, and they're like on a skateboard and scooters and stuff. I'm like, okay, I'm going to slow down. So I start gradually slowing down. Well, this kid in the F-350 just keeps getting closer, like fast, coming up behind me, fast. And I'm going, great, he's just going to run me over. He's not even, like, paying attention. He's just about to. So I'm, like, trying to be super gradual, but also tap my brakes and, like, flash my lights, do everything I can to, like, get his attention, right? Well, then all of a sudden I hear his brakes lock up and I see the smoke go up. It's like, oh, you finally noticed, huh? Mm-hmm. And these kids were just like looking, and the thing's still flashing yellow. It's not even red yet, because that's the way it works. Is it flashes yellow to give you a warning, and then it turns red, and it stops, stays solid red, and then you're not supposed to drive until they cross, and then it goes back to flashing red.
Yeah.
So I'm sit there, and of course I knew stopping so slowly, I was going to get really close to that line, and I was going to look like the jerk, but I didn't want anything to happen to these kids, and this guy's behind me just being an oblivious. I could say some things. So, as he nearly runs me over, I stop completely, but like not after really trying to just gradually. The guy just about runs me over. He is an inch off my bumper in the Jag. So, of course, I'm a little like... and he looks out, puts his hand out the window. It's the typical like... It's like, do you not see the kids trying to cross thing? And like the other traffic stopped next to me, and it was fine. But then, of course, he like starts inching up, and he's just like revving at me to go forward. I'm like, oh my God. So then at that point, I just finally decide, okay, fine, I'm going to drive through because it's still flashing yellow. It still hasn't gone red. So I'm like, okay, these kids haven't moved all the way out here yet. I'm just going to go. If somebody wants to call me on it, fine. But I don't want to be around this dude any longer because he's giving me bad vibes. I start going for it, and then he just starts tailgating me. Then he pulls over to the side, and he just starts blowing smoke at me, coal rolling at the Jag. I'm like, okay, this is neat. Great. Love this.
Yeah.
And then he, does the blow by and stuff, and he keeps driving ahead, and then he tries to brake check me, and I'm like, okay, this is great. So on the road there, I cut into my old neighborhood because I'm like, I'm not going to hang out behind this guy and wait for him to do some stuff.
Yeah, plus go see your house.
Yeah, plus I could go see my old house. So I drove through, and I see my old house. This is great. Yeah, looks good. They're taking good care of it. Nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then as I come out of the neighborhood, kind of wait a while to turn. Then as I turn, I pull out, and it's the kid right behind me again. Like, he took the corner and just went over, and I'm like, oh, my God, we somehow met up at the exact same time. Just come on.
Yeah.
So it was just it was.
So he followed you all the way to.
So he
Express
followed me
Cafe.
until I got to Express Cafe, and then he just kind of like flashed a finger and drove away, and
So
I'm
your
like, all right, so
relaxing
he's
drive.
gone. Yeah,
So
my
Dean,
relaxing
not
drive
relaxing.
was taking a turn.
You got to carry your rat bat with you, your rat stick, right? So basically, it's just a piece of wood with nails in it.
Yeah.
You just get out of your car. I'm not saying violence is the answer, right? Just go hit his tires a few times, right? Just humble him.
Yeah, it's something simple.
Oh yeah,
anything
no,
like
I would.
that.
Yeah, there's just I don't know. There's just some weird entitlement, some weird edgy whatever, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm not gonna deal
Sorry
with
that
that
happened to
today.
you, Dane.
And I'm not the guy to sit there and go back in my hypothetical brain and go, man, if he saw the other truck I had, he would be
Yeah.
blanking in his blank. So anyway, not the point.
Listen to your truck, kid.
Yeah, that's right.
I had a truck that can eat your truck.
But see, then it just becomes a measuring contest, and nobody cares about that.
That's
So
all,
anyway,
that's all owning big
that
trucks
was
is.
that was exciting. It really is.
It's like
So
cheat day, Mrs.
that's
Dane's
all that
rotisserie
was.
Chicken machine is responsible for 75% of the excess off the seat. It's true.
Oh my god. So anyway, that was just my exciting little foray into getting my Express. Then on the drive home, as I left Express, pulled out on Eagle, started taking it down, and next thing I know, I get this guy who's maybe like 80 years old. He's sitting in the passenger side. His wife is driving. They're in a Ford Windstar.
Yeah.
If you may recall a Windstar, last generation Windstar.
Oh,
like
nice
a second
ones.
gen,
Yeah, nice
the bubbly looking
Yeah.
one. And people have totally forgotten those things. Anyway,
No,
he
no,
rolls down the window.
They've been very prominent in the show Yellow Jackets.
Oh, interesting. Okay. That makes sense, actually. Yeah.
No.
So he rolls down the window, and I already have my windows down because I like listening to the car, pop, pop, bang, bang, all that. And he turns over, he's just like, hey! I go, oh, no.
Yeah,
What are we
nice
about to-"
car.
And I was like, I'm already on edge because of what happened earlier, so now I'm like, oh,
And
great,
do you
more
have your
stuff.
cake donuts at this time, or you don't have your cake donuts?
I have my cake donuts.
Okay, so now you're extra protective.
Yeah,
I'm like,
right.
I
It's-
must protect
Yeah.
this,
This is a
at all
child.
costs. This
My
is
cake donuts.
So I need to protect this. But basically, he looks over. He's just like, "Yeah, nice car." And I'm like, "Okay, here we go." And then it's gray, so normally it doesn't attract a lot of attention. There was something in the air that day where it was just like everybody notice it and be weird. So I was like, "Okay." And he turns to me and he just starts talking about how his wife never let him buy a sports car, but if he did, he'd want this one. And I'm like, "Okay, cool." And he's like, "You want to trade?" And I'm like, "For what?" And he goes, "For this." And he points at the van, and I'm like, because
You go, "I already have one of those."
Yeah, I already basically have a family hauler. And he goes,
Like,
"Well,"
I got a Ford Windstar.
well, he goes,
It's
"Well,
just more rectangular.
yeah, exactly. It's more boxy, but it's the same idea." And he's just kind of like, "Oh, well, anyway." That thing fat, and it's just like all asking all the obvious questions kind of thing. And I just kind of played back and forth, made his day. He was happy after he left. But yeah, no, his wife was like, "Oh, you must be cute and rich." And I'm like, "Okay, time to go."
I got a six-pack of cake donuts here, too.
Yeah, not this. Anyway, start rolling ahead. Then like a 2019 Camaro ZL1 pulls up next to me and starts revving at me. He clearly has an aftermarket exhaust. Then he wants to race. And I'm going, oh no.
And you got the cake donuts again.
I got the cake donut. I'm just trying to protect these things. It's like
the cake donuts.
anybody ever
Yeah.
watched the movie The Warriors? It feels like that. Just trying to get home, and all these people keep challenging you in different ways. But eventually, I made it, but not before doing a little, like a 30 to 60 roll kind of thing, just for a little fun. And we were fairly evenly matched, even though I had 100 horsepower on me, so that was exciting.
Well,
Anyway, that's enough of that. I was just kind of throwing it out there. So yeah. Oh no, Chief! No, absolutely not. I knew you might think that, but no,
God. Hey,
absolutely
hey,
not.
There's a lot of room in this thing.
Oh god. Anyway, I got my stuff home. Everything was fine. We're done. But yeah, that was my exciting little foray into that. So yeah, no, I had a few pieces of excitement for the weekend.
Well, good, Dane, good.
Yeah.
My weekend was pretty chill. And I know somebody had asked earlier, what's Anthony drinking, right?
Ah.
Well, that, my friends, is a Vita Coco. Is that how you say it?
Yeah, Vita Coco.
Vita Coco?
Courtesy
that's
of our
what
friends
you're
at
drinking.
Pepsi.
Do they actually distribute this? No, they do not.
do.
Really?
Who does?
We might need
Pepsi
to get some.
distributes
Oh
Vita
my
Coco.
goodness.
So I've been on
It's a
this.
big bottle.
Wow,
been on
it's
this-
delicious.
That's
One
like
of
a
my
full liter.
One of my favorite drinks.
I've been on this crazy coconut water kick
Yeah, me
lately.
too. It's
I
good.
don't know why I like it so much. I just feel extremely refreshed and like very hydrated.
You know when I like drinking it? Right before a flight.
Yeah.
Hydrates me.
It does hydrate you. It's good for you. So, anyways, yeah, I've just been on this crazy coconut water kick lately. I can't get enough. I'm like addicted to it. It's freaking good, man. So I don't know, but not everybody likes coconut water, right?
No, a lot of people
So my
don't.
wife
I
drank
think it tastes like sweat.
My wife drank it, right?
Yeah.
And she says it tastes like socks.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I'm like, are you putting socks in your mouth? Like, how do you know what
That's
Well,
what
they
they
new
think,
socks
yeah.
or they use socks. That's
I-
important.
No, I love
That's the
coconut
difference.
water. It's got to be cold though for me.
Oh, I can drink
have
it
to
at
drink
pretty
it
much any
cold.
temperature. I mean, I've been there on an island before, cracking open a fresh
Franco.
coconut,
Yeah.
drinking from,
Yeah.
the
I bought my
loins
children a
of the-
coconut
of the
because they
fruit.
wanted to drink it, and they tasted it. And they said, "This tastes like socks," and I
Yeah.
said,
That movie is called
"It's
Falling
not."
Down, Franco. And it's definitely it's a cathartic movie.
Yeah,
Anyway,
but I love it. I'm with you.
Anyway,
Yeah.
I
think
don't know.
it's
If you like
delicious.
coconut water, let me know. I mean, I don't know if anybody else drinks it, but I mean, I'm all about it.
They have a pineapple flavored version of Vita Coco. I love that one.
I don't know. I don't know
too.
what it is. I think coconut's an acquired taste. I think not everybody has that taste bud that they like
Yeah.
coconut.
Yeah.
Or maybe they taste it differently than how it is. Like, I don't know. When I drink it, I just think I'm like yes, this is a fresh, delicious coconut.
my dad
Yeah.
is a coconut fiend.
Is he a
Yes.
coconut
Yeah, I'm
guy?
surprised, but he's not a coconut water drinker.
No, he doesn't drink coconut water, but he
remember
wants
when
coconut
I
on
remember when
all
I
his
got
desserts.
coconut chips one day, and he was like, "Ooh, give those here." He
Yeah.
completely. He just. It was like a vacuum. He just like.
Nobody listen to Neil. It is not a family movie.
Yeah.
It is not a family movie.
Anyway, so no, jumping into my weekend. I mean, everything was pretty chill. Nothing too crazy happened. Friday was pretty chill. I mean, I guess like the biggest news is that I've taken my my racing simulator driving to the next level.
Ooh, you've gone pro.
I've gone. So I would like to go pro. I just
Yeah.
don't know how you do that. Is it like
Well, you
is
buy
it-
a bigger
is it-
machine.
Is it paperwork that you need to submit to be a pro
You get a
racing
license.
simulator driver?
I think when you
Yeah.
buy it, it comes with a
it just-
certificate
okay,
of authenticity.
okay. I
and
didn't know-
Oh, so
what
it's
you-
pay to play.
Oh, I think so.
Yeah, well, I've
Oh,
done,
yeah,
I've
it's
done
frowned
other,
upon.
I've
Yeah.
done other things for pay, so I mean, I would definitely pay to play.
Well, like our friend Tyler, I feel like that unit that he bought, I feel like that should come with some form of certificate.
Yeah.
You know.
Please no, Rick. Please no.
But what ended up happening was, so Jimmy helped me. We built a gaming PC for
Yeah.
myself, right? Now, keep in mind,
So, question:
yeah,
Yeah,
big fan of the junkyard.
of course.
Are you thinking about potentially? Here's my idea: proper sim build
out of the junkyard.
out of a junkyard. We
Yeah.
go get an Evo or a Lancer.
We won't find we'll
Dashboard.
Definitely find a Lancer.
Get a Lancer dashboard.
Yeah, we
You've
could
got that
easily-
Evo steering wheel already.
Yeah.
We hook everything up with like a folding. We skip the folding
my.
chair. You've got those Recaros up in your upper cabinetry, up in your attic.
No, I got rid of the Recaros.
Oh.
Yeah.
Do you have any other type of chair we could steal?
Yes, there's probably some other seats.
I'm just thinking, we get something.
Yeah.
Maybe we call your friends at Corbo.
Yeah.
Say, hey, building a
Racing
virtual
center.
rig,
Yeah.
and it's set up in your office.
Half of a car is what it would be.
Oh, man.
And thinking we get some door panels.
Yeah.
We get maybe a passenger seat, center console.
Nice.
You set it up. You put the car seat in so you can put the kid in
Yeah.
with you,
And
that way you can be banging some gears.
You're
playing
going to
your
be in
game.
the sequel to Gran Turismo, like Ron said.
We get an 80-inch TV
Yeah.
and set it up as like the windshield, so it
Yeah.
feels
Right.
like it's real.
Sure.
And date nights with my wife.
And
right?
date nights with the wife. And you're
Exactly.
like, you want to watch me race?
I'm like, you want to go on a cruise?
have her hop in the passenger seat.
Yeah, right? Nothing sexier than that.
Turn on
right?
the fan, got the wind in your
and
hair.
then-
And then if we want, we get like the bench that we have here with the tabletop and then the 3 bar stools. Put that behind the driver's seat and passenger seat for your friends.
So
They can come and enjoy perhaps a snack,
Wow.
Yeah.
and they can watch while you're
you're
driving.
not eating in the car, Levi. Yeah, there's
Right,
no
but
eating
we're
in
not
the
in
car.
the car.
Yeah, well,
you're
me-
in the car, but
yeah.
we're behind you at a table.
I just don't want to eating anywhere
Next thing
near
you know,
me.
you're
Oh,
just doing a driving in place scene from like a 90s sitcom.
So what I want it to be, right? So we know Disney's California
Just with the
Adventure,
rear
right?
Yeah.
projection
right,
and
right.
everything.
What we'll have is I'll have a scent machine, right? So when I'm
Ooh.
driving by
Ooh, I
grassy
like this.
fields, right?
Smell-o-vision. Here we
Smell
go.
of cut grass,
Yeah.
right, in the air, right?
Yeah.
Next thing you know, what am I driving driving by. I'm driving by like maybe.
I don't see why we can't do this.
You're gonna hire the crew from soaring over California to like.
Oh yes.
Well, what it's going to be is we can just buy a bunch of those solo bathroom air fresheners that go off at certain times.
Or he mowed the lawn early in the day, and now they're throwing fresh clippings at him.
Yeah.
No, well, we don't want that.
Oh, I could crash off road, right?
Right, yeah, and then they're just like,
Yeah, but then something like a
they're throwing
cannon.
it at you. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, this is really messy.
Yeah.
So anyway, going back to what I was initially saying before we got.
Well, you were saying you're upgrading.
Yeah, I mean,
Going on tangents.
So Jimmy helped me build a gaming PC, right? And now it kind of occurred to me that I've reached the point in my life, right, the grown-up point in my life, where young me, child me, would look back and would go, oh my God, you've done it. You have everything you could have ever wanted, right? You have a PlayStation 5.
Yeah.
You have an Xbox Series X.
Right.
You have a Nintendo Switch. And a gaming PC, right?
what do you get the man who has everything?
You got all of it now.
What do you
Where's
get?
okay? So next,
you've
where's
got
the room to
everything.
play all this stuff?
Right?
Right.
Where's the time
Right.
to play all this
Yeah.
stuff, right? So, what's funny to me is that like the little kid version of myself would look at that and be like, "Oh my God, like you're rich."
Yeah.
Right? And then when you actually get older and you get older, you can go, "Yeah, well, you could pretty much buy any gaming. You could buy all the games that you could ever possibly want." Hence why I see all these TikTok videos and all these videos online of people with gaming rooms that are absolutely insane. They just have adult money.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Instead of spending it on cars and
You could
clubs
build that
and
gaming
all
room
that.
by selling the Evo.
right? I just don't
I don't know
think
if your wife
I
would
don't know if
appreciate
I
that.
necessarily want to do that
Yeah,
though.
just be antisocial, stay inside, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Like a
yeah,
Star Wars
I guess
themed
what I'm
room.
trying to say is I have all this stuff, right?
Yeah.
I probably will never have the time to actually fully enjoy any of it, so I probably should sell most of everything off.
oh, Neil's
that I
looking out
probably
for
wouldn't
you.
use. I have a Nintendo Wii if you want, Anthony. I'm saying that. I think I've acquired these things over the years through which you guys have seen me here on the podcast say I've acquired these things, but it's not necessarily something I have time for. The gaming PC also connects to the KCX German hostel. Oh my god.
Neil with a real question.
Probably
because of
Anthony.
Matt's.
Since you're not driving the Evo, what is your long-term plan? Sell it to Matt Mormon for $100K or what?
Never know.
He shows up with $100K. I'm not gonna say no, Neil. I'm gonna go ahead and say yes.
Anthony, OG spec Evo Sim. Just saying.
I mean, yours is.
What if
about
we
as
just
OG
took your
spec
Evo
as-
apart and put it back together in the house
Yes.
Ooh, in the living room.
with the TV in front of it? So
I
it's
think
like so you
Yeah.
can get in it,
Yeah.
but you're still playing your game. So
Yeah.
it feels like it's going to get a little more action than it has
Without
Yeah.
putting miles on it.
without putting miles on it.
Yeah. We'll
Just
saw
digital
we'll
miles.
Sawzall probably at the A pillar.
Well, no,
Okay.
we don't
And
cut
this-
it out. We're gonna just
Well,
completely
you remove the
disassemble
windshield
it.
so there's no glare from glass.
Yeah,
to
you won't have
glass.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's about getting the car frame through my.
yeah.
Right.
The hard part is
Yeah.
just
small
trying to
door.
keep the dogs out of that, because they'll want to
Yeah.
come over and see what you're doing.
You're gonna come
You know.
scratch the door. Hey, look
They're gonna
let me
walk
look
up, be like, "Oh,
inside."
Dad's
What are you
home.
doing?
What are you
He's
doing?"
building a car in his,
Yeah.
in his 10x10 office, right?
Interesting.
room.
Yeah.
Barely the cars.
So anyway, I guess what I'm trying to say is, so I have all these things, and I go, this is really cool, but Jimmy helped me build this racing, this PC, right?
Yeah.
So some components. I had to learn a little bit about the components and things like that, right? Things pretty cool. I'm not a Windows guy, right? I've always been more of a Mac person myself, so I had to kind of relearn Windows. But everything that I already had for my racing sim just plugs straight into this thing.
That's nice.
So,
There you go.
yeah, I've been able to go and take it out and really enjoy some, carefree driving.
Nice.
On the back
Yeah.
roads, no rock chips I have to worry about,
Yeah,
right?
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Park the car in the
Car
house.
doesn't get dirty, when it.
That's what I'm saying.
The cool thing about video game damage is you can reset it.
Yeah,
that's what I'm
You're
saying.
back to
let's take it
back
to that
clean,
next
fresh,
step.
and good
So
to go.
I really think I got a shot at the next Gran Turismo movie, right?
That's cool.
we see this first one coming out here
Yeah.
in the next month or so, and I think that next story is going to be about myself, right? A guy, a towel salesman, right? Who
From
turned
Idaho.
from
The
Idaho,
journey.
who turned pro
Yeah.
as a father,
just a
right?
humble potato farmer.
A humble potato farmer, that basically tried his hand at online simulator racing.
Yeah.
Turns out he's one of the best.
wow.
Crazy.
Crazy.
Yeah, I like it.
Anyways, I thought that'd be the upcoming movie. Other than that, though, I didn't watch any Cars this weekend. Like, I kind of was like, dang, I wanted to watch some stuff, but it started raining on Sunday. So I kind of started watching some different movies. I finally watched the Mario movie.
Yeah, it's good.
I just kind of felt like it was a
fine.
fun way to pass the time, but I wasn't like, I didn't remember much of it after I watched it. It was just kind of like in one ear, out the other.
Well,
but sometimes escapism is fun.
My daughter likes it.
Yeah.
So she's all
Visually,
about it.
I thought it was really
my
fun to
kids
look
loved
at.
it.
So I'm like-
I thought it was just enough to keep me entertained and found it funny and hilarious. And then, it was perfect.
It was fine.
Yeah, no, she's finally getting the age now to where she's wanting to expand into more shows outside of just kids stuff, right?
Yeah.
Which is kind of nice. So
Okay.
she's happy watching other types of cartoons, which is cool for me because I'm like, sweet. Like I enjoy watching.
You can
some
throw some
cartoons every
Pixar
once in a while.
classics her
Yeah,
way.
you can start doing Teen Titans Go.
There
Yeah.
you go. Yeah.
No, but
Fun
we were
stuff.
watching all the old Disney classics and stuff like
Nice.
that, right? Man, dude,
From the Renaissance or like the 70s?
like like
What?
the
Everything on
Snow
Disney
White
Plus.
and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Okay,
Snow
so
White.
old school.
Yeah, it's a terrifying movie.
Yeah.
You ever
Yeah,
think
no,
about that? Snow
is.
White? It
Yeah,
is
it
a
is.
scary movie.
You didn't
And
remember that?
no, I remembered as a kid that the what's it called, the the old lady, the old
Yeah.
hag,
The witch.
right? The witch, right? That was scary to me when I was a kid. I'm watching this as an adult, and I'm like, yeah, that's terrifying.
You don't know
Yeah.
scary until you've watched Brave Little Toaster as a kid, though.
Brave Little Toaster also
That
scary.
one was nightmare fuel and the guys blowing up.
Yeah, man. Stuff from
That
back
was
in the day.
gnarly.
Yeah.
Then I'm like, that was
That and Rockadoodle, like all those old Universal cartoons that were like trying to compete with Disney, but they were always
That was all
darker
Don
and
Bluth.
weirder. Don Bluth stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
Or All Dogs Go to Heaven, man. Yeah, good stuff.
So anyway, so I did that, and then I started another show. I'm only one episode into it. Started watching the show Twisted Metal.
Oh, right,
on-
about the old
on-
PlayStation game.
on
They made a show.
Peacock, right?
Yeah.
It's got what's his name from Hawkeye? Not from Hawkeye. From Captain America: Civil War.
Oh, Anthony Mackie?
Anthony Mackie.
Yeah.
Dude, honestly, it's a fun time. I don't know. I mean, the acting in it, it's pretty much like it's. How do I describe the acting?
Well, it's meant to
not-
be kind of like a silly mid-tier show. Like the
Yeah.
budget goes to the effects, not necessarily.
Yeah, like the
the
acting
script.
is kind of like I don't know how to describe it. Like there was a show back in the day about like something with gamers or something like that. That was like
Well, there was that movie Gamer that was made by the guys who made Crank
no,
with
it's
Gerard Butler,
Oh,
which was
man.
probably similar in terms of like acting level.
no.
And
There
stuff.
was some other gaming show back in the day that was all about gaming and things like
Oh.
that. I can't remember who the actors were in it, but it's very similar to that kind of acting where it's not great acting, but you're entertained.
It's passable and you're having fun, so you don't mind.
Yeah. So recommend that. It's like the first episode is pretty fun.
So it's kind of schlocky.
I'm gonna go binge the rest of them, but yeah, outside of that, mowed my lawn, did some other stuff around the house, cleaned up some stuff, and I have a bunch of car stuff I need to do. Honestly, I just haven't had time. That's the biggest thing. I have more modifications I want to do to my cars, and I want to do a little bit more detailing on some side projects here before the weather starts getting cooler. But yeah, I've been pretty busy every day.
Grand
Yoshi with a
Turismo.
better idea. Why bring the car into the office to build the sim rig? Take the PC out into the garage and turn the
Yeah.
Evo into a sim rig there.
Just adopting
Yeah.
the concept so you
That's
don't have
true.
to
It actually
rebuild
probably
the
makes
Evo
more
inside.
sense to move a very
Yeah.
small PC tower
Yeah.
into the garage
Yeah.
rather than
Mount a
rather than
TV
do
off the
that.
ceiling. It drops down in
Yeah.
front of the. In
That
front of
sounds
the
about right.
Evo.
I think you could definitely
Yeah.
get away with that. Do projection and stuff.
Yeah.
All right. And to answer Neil's question, I actually saw Oppenheimer before I saw Barbie. Literally, the day we got back, the
I
day
haven't seen
after we got
Oppenheimer
back from our trip, I saw it as an opportunity. Like, okay, I'm really all whacked out. Like in terms of my schedule, circadian rhythm, whatever. I'm tired, but not falling asleep. So I'm gonna go see a movie. So I went and saw Oppenheimer, and then as soon as I finished that, I was like, I'm going to do the Barbenheimer thing. So I decided to go find a showing of Barbie, and I went and watched that too. And it's on back to back, and honestly, worth it.
Yeah.
Worth it. I don't want to ruin anything for you, but I mean, it's a historical event.
Yeah.
No,
No,
stuff,
I'm
but
excited about
it's
it.
very, very, very
But-
good. Although seeing it in IMAX, I feel like it's not entirely necessary. Some people argue it is, but compared to some of his other movies, IMAX, this is mostly people talking in rooms biopic type thing. So I think you can get away watching it in a regular theater and not feel like you're missing too much. My personal take. But I enjoyed it, and I enjoyed Barbie, so that is that. I
Very
won't
good.
want to spoil anything.
All
for people.
right. So jumping into the UK, the Waxstock adventure. So
Yes.
this trip, we'll try to make it somewhat short and sweet here. So this trip involved myself, Dane Hennon of the Rag Company,
Yes.
Jimmy Wilkie of the Rag Company, Josh Petro of the Rag Company, and then Sydney Gwynn, and then we had Keith Duplessis. That was our
6 of you. That was your travel team.
Our core 6 that was traveling across the pond to foggy London town to obviously go do the Waxstock event, but also do some extra side stuff just for fun.
Did you
and
pick up
for
chocolate
work.
frogs this time before you landed?
Nope, no chocolate frogs were had. However, I think literally when we did land, I went and got myself a batch of what's the gummies that I got?
Oh, the lock.
No, the mix and match.
Oh, because I hear it pick and mix. They always talk
Pick and
about
mix.
it in like British raps and like hip hop stuff,
Yeah.
and just like random shows will mention pick and mix, and I always hear about it.
I got the pick
I
and mix.
don't know what it is other than like random assorted like snack candy stuff, but I
Yeah.
don't know the deal. And when we were at the train station in Paddington, we looked over and there was a whole stand, and it's essentially just
Candy.
the bins at Winco.
Yeah, right.
But
Yeah.
in a train station
Yeah.
where there are birds flying around, I
Perfect.
just
Yeah,
might
those-
drop on.
yeah, no,
Fortunately,
those-
when I was looking, all of the stuff was clear. But I thought, man, given enough time, there's no way
those
bird hasn't
gummies-
crapped in this thing.
Those gummies were not just stale, but they also had the taste of cigarettes,
Oh,
bird droppings,
heavily seasoned.
bird droppings, and rail dust.
Nice.
G-Div's lock mess.
I like that. Very nice.
Like, you don't put an open gummy container next
Oh,
to a
man.
rail yard. I mean, like, it's literally you're getting rail dust. It's not ideal. So, anyways, so
It's iron.
So you guys
Good for your
landed.
time.
So our trip there in general, right?
Yeah.
So on the way over there, it was pretty tight on the plane, right?
Yeah.
Now, granted, some people might say it's not as tight, but I think the thing was
It's the 4 of you next to each
four
other.
big boys
in a
And
single row in the middle where there's aisles to the either side.
Yeah,
of
and
us.
usually when we've gone over in the past, Dane and Anthony are on opposite sides of each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm in my own seat. Your dad's in his own seat on his
Yeah.
own spot. So we're not all 4 next to each other.
Which, I mean, I get the thought behind it. They wanted us
Yeah.
all together, converse, all that. Made sense. But the particular conditions of this flight may have very well been the worst I've experienced in
So
recent
the
memory.
plane was hot.
It was very
So,
hot.
well, really quick. Sorry, I just need to
Yeah.
acknowledge Super Auto 2K.
Of course, yeah.
He says on another note, the GT Aggressor Pro upgrades are piling up. Thinking about doing some more upgrades myself here, right? Over the next maybe couple weeks, right? Doing some stuff. So
Nice.
send me some
Ooh.
pics once you get yours stuff installed.
Yeah.
All right.
Back to the plane. So the plane. So we're all 4 of us are in this middle row, right? And it just Josh has broad shoulders,
Yeah.
right? So my
Yeah.
shoulders aren't that broad, but I mean, like,
Well,
mean,
they're
you're
as
pretty- you're
broad
pretty
as
squared
Josh's.
off. Yeah.
when we're next to each other, we're definitely bumping
Yeah.
shoulders, right?
Yeah.
Not just that, our knees are on each other, right?
Yeah.
Because we're not trying to man spread, but it's just everybody is
But it's hard
Yeah.
not to man spread because you put your legs
Well,
together.
4
and
men
you're just-
together.
well, and it was hot.
It
right?
requires
Right.
tension.
You got to
Our-
cool the body down.
Our fan things at the top
They
weren't
didn't
putting out the output they normally do. It was a very subtle, like.
It was barely a whisper. Barely. I mean, this was like
So
a preacher's fart in church. It was
yeah, no, my favorite.
so bad.
So like right when the plane like we took off and we were in the air, I could already tell. I'm like, okay, this is gonna be 9 hours and 40 minutes.
And it wasn't cooled air. It
This
was
is-
room temp, and the room temp was
This
hot.
is gonna be an interesting 9 hours and
Yeah.
40 minutes, right?
Right.
We got our food, we got drinks, we tried to stay busy. Josh was trying to sleep, but the problem with him trying to sleep is he couldn't lean back comfortably, so all he was doing was leaning forward to try to
boy.
sleep on the TV,
Yeah.
and then like falling and hitting his head on the thing every single
Yeah.
time.
Oh yeah, he
'Cause-
face planted into the screen in front of us,
So-
and not subtle at all. He was like
Yeah.
mashed into
He was
it.
face planning. He couldn't get comfortable. Myself, I don't even know what the heck I was doing. I think I was trying to play Switch and try not to
You're
spill any
trying.
of my drinks because of the broad shoulder situation. Jimmy was like a mummy. He had gone like this and crossed his arms.
We were all doing some version of like
Yeah.
crossing our arms
So he
to try and
crossed his
minimize
arms.
our
and
overall
tried
footprint.
to sleep in some way. And then Dane, that was my favorite thing. So
It's
I got
always funny.
Crisscross applesauce?
No, so I got up.
Not enough room for that.
I got up because I wanted to get a better view of the
Yeah.
situation. So I got up, walked around the plane to get
did your laps.
to Dane's side. And Dane is sitting there. I don't know how else to describe it. His arms are kind of crossed, but very uncomfortably.
I was doing this, tucked, like almost like you do for warmth in the winter.
to
But
try
the
to
difference
keep
was
his
to keep my
arms
arms as
just keep
tucked
his-
in as possible because I felt like I was brushing anyway. I was
Yeah.
just trying not to,
And-
respect other people's boundaries.
And I walk over, and I just see this glisten off of Dane's forehead. And I go, Dane, are you hot?
I'm normally hot on every flight, but this time I was
He-
literally sweating.
He was like a baked potato. He was just
It was so
cooking,
bad.
cooking in this tin air
I was
fryer.
turning red.
And I go, oh my god, damn! Like you got to get up and walk to the back of the plane. It's colder back there. And he goes, oh crap. So I know he eventually got up, but it was I don't know how to describe it. It was just a not horribly uncomfortable to where it's like, hey, it's unbearable, but just that.
Did the stewards?
Well,
The
here's the
attendants-
thing
the
about
flight
that.
attendants.
So every
say
time I would
anything about
finally start, they didn't talk about it, but our whole cabin was way hotter than any other.
And they said, hey, it's just hot right inside there. If you want to get cool, just come to the back of the
Yeah.
plane. Well, it was a party back there. There's like
Yeah.
freaking 10 people back there who were all in the same boat of trying to get cool. There was one person just eating ice back there.
That's the kind of flight it was.
So it was just like a funny situation. So
Nice.
anyway, the flight was okay. We ended up getting in, but the hard part was we had to jump on trains almost
Well,
immediately.
you guys
right?
landed first thing. You landed midday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
so
none
we
of
had to
us-
start our day the second we
Yeah.
landed.
And none of us really slept. I think Josh
Right.
slept for a couple hours, maybe.
Josh got sleep because he managed to find the extra space that was available to him, which was forward. So he mashed his face into that screen, but it became a pillow. So he was
Yeah.
just like that. Jimmy kind of leaned back, and like a mummy, he just kind of like, actually kind of like Dracula in his
Yeah.
casket kind of thing, just like fell asleep like that. Meanwhile, Anthony was trying, but he kind of like nodded off, kind of leaned a little bit. My shoulder sticks out into the aisle. So the problem was
kept
every time
getting-
I got a hint, just a hint of like, oh, the Tylenol PM's finally kicking in, I ended up not getting any sleep because every time I would start to nod off, I would
You
get
get
bumped
bumped.
immediately
Yeah.
by a cart or a
Sorry,
person or
man.
something. And so I got maybe a maximum of 20 to 30 minutes of sleep on that 9-hour
Yeah.
flight.
It was what it was.
And then it was just on to the next
we
day,
we just
so.
knew that, hey, we're not going to do this middle aisle thing again. Like, we can't. Even though our flight home was booked for that. We're like, hey, we got to figure out something to change that. So anyway, flight in was good. Or flight in was okay. Not great. But we got
Not
it.
great.
We got in, jumped on some trains. We're getting ready to start our day. We stopped at several different spots. Sydney had to grab her Starbucks, of course. And then
Time.
almost every time, right? But that was her thing. We brought her an immense amount of happiness, and I'm all for it. Same thing with me and Gummies or Josh and whatever that he wanted to do. So we ended up getting in, and then from there, it was just basically jumping on trains all the way up to Coventry.
There were some hiccups though on the way. Now,
Oh,
granted,
yeah. Yeah,
your
there was
directions were great,
Yeah.
and we were able to navigate. Even though you weren't there, we
Right.
were able to do it pretty fine.
Which
The
I
issue
was proud. I was very proud when I was checking in with you guys to
Yes.
hear what you guys were doing because I was asking the questions, not because I was upset with you guys for
No.
changing. I wanted to find out how you were able to adapt
Between
based upon that situation.
myself, Josh, and occasionally Keith, we kept
Yeah.
ourselves navigated
I love it.
on the
I
right
love
path
it.
at all times.
Yeah.
The issue we ran into was
There was a strike.
When we made, there was the rail strike, among other things, that was like causing some trains to be delayed, other trains to be canceled, and it was always like mid-path, like you're
Yeah.
already halfway to your destination, and then the next train just gets fully canceled, and like, okay.
Yeah, so a lot of
But
pivoting.
in our case, something
Yeah.
that did not come up in any like the official press, whatever, we were there and they said something about explosives were found on the track, and it was just kind of hold
so
up,
just some
what?
people messing
Yeah,
around.
no, there was some
it
like
was
weird,
pretty weird.
but it was like a real announcement.
Jimmy was
over
really
the
worried about
loudspeaker
it.
and stuff.
I wasn't
and-
that bothered by it. I just thought maybe
It was
you
weird.
know,
Yeah.
I
But
mean,
yeah.
maybe just more trash on the train station, right? Because there's no freaking
No, they very
there's trash cans in
explicitly
that
said what
country.
they said, and
Yeah.
it was not trash. It
Wow.
was something like an
Yeah.
incendiary device or something.
Yeah.
And they're
So,
like, we're not putting any trains going that way.
To highlight, Joey Belinsky says, got to move on from the dusty gold bond onto the silky smooth cream that is fresh balls. So honestly, I would have put fresh balls on myself in a heartbeat, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
I
man.
don't know why I didn't even.
Bring
Everybody
any.
should have powdered up. Everybody should have been prepared for that
Well, it's because
flight.
I wasn't there with you to remind
Yeah.
us. right? Everyone to powder
Going to the
up.
bathroom is taking wet wipes and
Yeah.
just cleaning everything off because it was at that level of just
you're
come on,
slumpy.
like this is just not fun.
Take a quick bath.
Yeah, got to carry an extra pair of
Yeah, that's why we carry an extra pair of underwear.
extra underwear on you.
Yeah.
Seriously,
There's
dude.
backpacks for that.
Yeah.
reason.
I had
It's
an
not
extra
even
shirt and
not
everything
even
in my
a
backpack.
joke. It's a real thing.
Yep.
So back to we jumped on the train. We got to Coventry, and once we got into Coventry, we had to take we met up with Roberto from Diamond Pro Tech, which was awesome. But we
Love
actually
Roberto.
had to take an Uber to get to the hotel. So the hotel this time around, roughly the same vibes, right? So we knew
you
that
check
hey,
in easy. Did you get your sparkling water?
we did.
Okay.
So we knew kind of a rough flight getting in,
Yeah.
right?
We knew what to
we were
expect.
tired. Jumping on trains for the next 2.5, 3 hours wasn't our idea of a good time, considering how tired we were. But we knew once we got to the hotel, we were at the Mecca. We were at the place where we could kick our feet up, get comfortable, and enjoy the vibes.
No, Kirby. We were flying Comfort Plus,
Yeah.
Yeah. So
and
that
it was
is-
still very
so
snug.
technically we were in the row of Comfort Plus. The row behind us was economy.
So we were like
There's
one
no-
step
there's-
removed. But
yeah.
when you look at it, there's really hardly any difference.
There is no
Our seats just had
difference.
like a little more cushioning, but it didn't change the fact you're all basically starting to
Yeah,
get
no, it's the same size.
Yeah, the width
It's
is
the same
if
same
that's
seat size,
You had
yeah.
the 4 inches of knee room.
Yeah,
is
if
all
you
have.
if you go forward a little more, it's a lot more money, but you
Levi,
get those seats with the big
that's all you
dividers
get.
and stuff.
I don't even know if it was 4 inches of
It
extra
was
leg
not.
room. I don't know how to describe it. Anyway, I mean,
So anyway, you got to Coventry, you're checking into the hotel,
yeah, we checked into the hotel. Everything was good there.
and you guys didn't have to do anything at that point.
No, we ended up
Once
going
you got
and-
there, you could relax. If
Yeah,
you
we
needed
ended up
to.
going downstairs to the Anecdote and getting some food and whatnot. What's interesting is that some of the same staff from the Anecdote last year was working there
Yeah.
as we saw again this year. So we're like,
Yeah.
oh, hey, it feels
remember
like we were
you.
just here. Weird, though. The food, remember last year how it was pretty good?
Yeah,
pretty
it was
good.
decent.
Yeah.
It was pretty good,
But-
right?
Burgers
Remember-
and fries and yeah.
I don't want to upset all our English listeners, but it was pretty good by English standards. The thing
but it
is, a
was
lot of the
decent.
food there
It
was pretty.
It was American bar food, is what it was. It was,
Yeah.
But
it was sandwiches.
on par.
But
Yeah.
it would not be out of place at any bar, pub
It's like
around here.
what we would
Yeah.
have here at like Old Chicago.
Yeah, totally normal.
Yeah.
yeah.
You're like, yeah, that's good.
on
burger.
par with pretty normal bar
Yeah.
food.
Yeah.
This time around, I don't know how to describe it. It was still bar food. It was just not as great. Like the burgers were weirdly kind of rubbery. Like there's just some weird like texture things with this food that I couldn't quite describe.
I apologize in advance. It's going to sound like we're just endlessly complaining, but we're basing it on our past experiences.
No. Well, so I was thinking maybe at this point. Because
It's a fluke.
we told Jimmy, obviously we're hyping most of this, not hyping
Right,
most
you're
of
like,
this.
It'll
And
be-
this
it'll
was
be
the
good when we
challenge.
get
Is
here.
Sydney and Jimmy are just looking at us with a constant state of disappointment throughout this whole trip.
we're trying to get people excited about the trip
Yeah.
and things like that. So we say, hey, we like the Anecdote. It's really cool, right? The food's pretty decent too. They go and eat the food. Okay, yeah, it was okay. Yeah, okay, well, I guess that's kind of true. Maybe this time around it wasn't as good, but
Yeah.
we'll figure it out, right?
Yeah.
Wait till the morning, right? The breakfast is going to be the best. So,
Yeah, because the breakfast at that place, the Faraday,
Yeah.
was good.
yeah, so we go to the breakfast. We get our English breakfast in the morning, delicious as usual, right? I love my bacon, love my
Yeah.
beans, my
And UK
tomatoes,
bacon is different.
and I
Yeah.
love
It's like ham.
my cook to order eggs, right?
Yeah,
I
right.
mean,
At the omelet
amazing.
bar, yeah.
What more could you want?
I mean, you had
I would have
sausages.
killed for a slop dog at that place. But we ended up going from there. We jumped on some more trains and we joined the Diamond Pro Tech with Roberto, and we went to the Morgan facility, so Morgan Motors, to go check out the. Basically the manufacturing
It's a
of
beautiful
these
facility.
Morgan vehicles. Now, I'm just going to be open and honest. I think that they're absolutely hideous. I think they're the ugliest vehicles ever made. I can't believe they've been in business for as long as they've been in with
Enthusiasts
vehicles that look like that.
Carry that.
Especially considering they're made out of freaking wood and aluminum.
I love
I wouldn't
that.
trust that to save my life.
On the contrary, they know the material science is sound. They've done a great job.
humid island, they're making vehicles out of wood.
How do you think they're able to bend it so well?
Yeah, I know, Dane. It's just haunting.
It's amazing.
To me.
I love it.
So, with that said, I think they're ugly. Everybody else liked them, which I think is great because I'm glad that
The process is fascinating
Oh, yeah,
to watch
it
them
is.
build it, go through the whole thing.
is fascinating.
Regardless of what you think the end product looks like, you
Yeah,
have
no,
to
I
admit,
can appreciate
even if
everything.
someone, if you're just like, not my thing, watching it built, super
No,
interesting.
the upholstery, the paint,
That
the
trim
finishing,
shop was so cool.
The trim, I mean, everything is made right there, which is, I mean, it's very
It's all hand
impressive.
built, with the exception of the engine, which comes from like BMW, and then the
Yeah.
Ford for the 3-cylinder and the 3-wheeler.
No,
But,
super
yeah.
impressive. I mean, like everything that they did there. I mean, the facility, even though it's so old, has a lot of modern features to it. Like I like the smells of the place. There's a lot of
Their
cool things
cafe
about
was
it.
super cool. It had
Cafe was
Triumph
awesome.
vibes. Like it was a lot like the Triumph experience.
Yeah,
was.
very very similar to Triumph.
But like a single
but,
level building
yeah,
instead
I mean-
of tall.
Everything was good about it. I think the cars are ugly.
And that's fine.
My favorite part though is so obviously.
Oh God.
My favorite part is that I'm like
Right at the end
I'm-
of the whole thing.
these are obviously not my favorite vehicles, right? And I try not to like I try to be able to
You were trying to be polite.
trying to be polite.
you throw it
know,
out there, though,
cool,
sometimes,
this
a
is
little-
cool, this is
little
cool.
bold.
And I was throwing some compliments here and there, but
Our
my
tour guide.
my favorite is the tour guide. This tour guide
the
loved Morgan.
driest.
He was very dry, but he loved Morgan. He loved the vehicles. He loved everything about it. So I guess Roberto would ask if, one of our team members could get a ride in a Morgan.
Yeah.
And the
He
tour
wanted to see if we wanted to drive or if we wanted to ride, and we were like, English roads. Why don't we just go for a ride?
Yeah, so the tour guide is like, hey, I'll give you a ride in my own personal Morgan, my own personal car. And everybody's like, that sounds awesome, right?
Yeah.
And I heard the conversation. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go walk over to the gift shop, right?
Yeah.
I don't really want to be here, for this portion of things. And that's when, and this is really funny because this is my reaction. The video is totally different than what I'm talking about right now. But my favorite thing is, so he's like, okay, who should go for the ride, right? And so everybody's like, it's got to be Dane. It's got to be Dane, right?
Yeah.
So Dane, what does he say?
Well, first, I'm like looking at Jimmy like, well, you can't because you're going to film. And I'm looking at Anthony, and I was like, well, you're like host material. You could definitely do this. And he's just like, but they're ugly. I don't want it. And I'm like, okay. And then there's me. And as you guys are all saying Dane, and he goes, which one of you is Dane? And he's looking over and he sees me and he goes, I don't want to hurt your feelings, but... And I'm like, oh, no. I knew exactly. I'm like, say no more. Got it. Small car. Big guy. I get it. Understood.
Yeah.
Like that recent Grand Tour
then
special
they're
where they
like,
had to remove the body of the
who's
car
gonna
just
go
to
on
get
the ride?
Clarkson
And
out.
everybody's like, well, it's got to be somebody that's going to be on the camera, and it's all this. And I'm like walking away.
So
I'm like,
I knew. I was like,
no.
Anthony, come over here. You're going to do it.
And so they're like,
You're going to do the
Anthony.
thing that I want to do but can't.
And I was like, no. I'm like,
sorry,
you
Dane.
should really go to somebody that's going to appreciate this more
Now, if
than
it was me driving it myself, that would have been fine. They would have let me do that. But it's honestly, the cockpits were not small either, actually. For such a
No,
small vehicle,
Miata
it seemed
size.
very...
Miata
And I
size.
had a Miata, so it's fine. Could do it.
So,
but I
I
just didn't want to
I
impose.
was for it. I mean, like, it was just kind of like, I was like, man, you give it to somebody that's going to appreciate it, right? Like, I mean, I don't really like these cars that much. So, anyway, I went out there, jumped in the car, and...
Tyler's like, oh, fuck.
Tyler, I loved it.
Yes.
I will
So-
be invited back. He will not.
So, anyway, well, with that said, though, I think, what's funny, Roberto was looking at me, he goes, I know you hate this. And I go,
Roberto's great.
And I'm like, I don't hate this. I'm like, it's just not my style of
You
car.
like everything besides what it looks like when it's done.
Yes.
Honestly, everything else you were totally like down
Yeah.
with. You thought it was cool. Yeah. You just don't care for how it looks.
And so I jump in the car, and he starts it up, and he tells me that his particular model had the Fiesta 1.5 or something in it. Like, it had some motor in it from a Ford.
Yeah.
And he goes, what's cool is it's got the pops and bangs, right? And I'm kind of like, oh, like, what kind of pops and bangs, right? Dude, he ended up getting on it, right?
He had,
it's
he had a +4 is what he had.
Yeah, it has, like, rally car vibe. I mean, like, it sounded like a rally car. So I was pretty surprised, and the thing felt pretty quick.
Yeah, it's made of wood.
Oh, it's just. I mean, it felt pretty quick.
Aluminum and
it was
wood.
just funny because I felt like I was.
Aluminium.
I felt like I was in a very small boat from the pirate days. Like I'm in there, and I'm just like looking at the buttons and switches, and it wouldn't have surprised me to look over to see the steering wheel being a boat steering wheel with, like, the big things on it. So anyway, the ride was good. I really appreciate that I was able to at least experience that, even though I wish Dane could have got to experience that.
I appreciate you taking one for the team and doing something fun.
Yeah, and we so my favorite part though about the whole ride is right when I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go for a ride. He goes, now let me tell you all about what makes Morgan so different than, and I'm like, oh no, you don't have to.
He was already very dry on the tour. I mean, nice guy, but oh my God, I haven't been on a tour that had a guide that was that just like dry. I don't know how else to describe it, but Anthony was literally falling asleep standing up as we went through this whole thing. And the stuff that was going on was fascinating.
Trying not to.
But as he was having it explained to him, like Anthony was just like,
Yeah, it's just the way the guy gave a tour. That's
right,
all.
yeah. No,
because our
exactly.
tour guide when we were at Triumph was
And
tell jokes.
as a
and was
person,
very
it's no mark
funny
against
and-
him. As his
Yeah.
form of delivery would probably
Yeah.
work on a different subset of folks, but I don't think it vibed
Yeah.
for these guys. So really just enjoying the
Yeah.
facility and
Yeah.
stuff. So once again, I enjoyed it. Anthony did enjoy it. He just doesn't care for how the car looks when it's done.
Yeah.
The whole thing was like an
No,
interesting experience.
it was
I have
something to
nothing
do.
bad
It was
to
a
say
nice-
about
it was
that.
an event. Something fun to do.
I don't regret doing it. I enjoyed it.
No, I like everything about it. I just don't like the cars, but I like everything about it though. Like the vibes are killer. Right?
Yeah.
It smells good inside there. It's got great. It's got a great
You love the
layout
fit
in
and
general.
finish of, like, the
Display
interior.
areas
Yeah,
are
I love
super
all that.
I
nice.
love all that kind of stuff. I like seeing how things are made. So it really was a cool thing. I'm glad we went. I mean, if we wouldn't
Yeah.
have gone and that would have just been a dead day, then it would have felt like a waste. So
Yeah.
I'm glad that we did do that. So thanks to Roberto for
So once again,
for setting
Roberto,
that up.
Diamond Protect, thank you for connecting
Yes.
that. We really appreciate it.
No, it was really, really cool. And so the towels they're using were haunting as usual with any
Yeah,
place
when you
that
get
we
to the
go
end
to.
and they got like that girl and that guy over in the corner like doing some of the final work on some of those panels and stuff. Like she was polishing away and he was doing something to like an interior like panel, but it was outer body work that folded into the interior.
Yeah, I think that if there's a way to plug some towels in there, I think that maybe
All right, John Hole will be working on
maybe
that.
Yeah,
change
yeah.
the way that those vehicles look, right?
The
Just make them
finish
beautiful
could be improved.
So anyway, so then I don't even know. So at that point, it was the Saturday of getting ready for the event, and then that was pretty cool, just being around there and getting stuff ready to rock and roll. Sunday was the event itself. We saw a ton of people, right? We saw obviously Darren, the
Yeah.
Hairy Horsewife, right?
Yeah,
Who hooked
which
us up with all of our.
we're all wearing our hairy housewife shirts. You got your hairy horsewife shirt, which I love. Underneath here, it just says the hairy, and then it's got all this, which is not hairy.
Custom T-shirts
Anyway,
and all that.
you get it.
Yeah.
And then, but yeah, we saw Graham. We saw so many people. Obviously, Hans Klosen being there. We were not chloroformed, thank God.
Mark Bittas, who like came up in the middle of your tour when you were doing the live, and then just like basically was in your face, but remember me.
Yeah, Mark.
Mark.
But no, so the event itself was good. It felt like a pretty decent turnout. I think that there are some really cool cars there that they pulled in. Obviously, there's two R34 GTRs that I was
right
just
off
like,
the bat.
I was
you're losing your mind about it.
drooling over,
Yeah.
right?
Sell the Evo.
Honestly,
And-
I was looking at that
Yeah,
cold
I
and
mean,
calculating,
so, like,
going, maybe
8
now
Evos.
Jimmy won't be so upset about being here because there's two R34s. And sure enough, it worked a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, if I went to an R34 factory instead of a Morgan factory, right, I would be stuck to the wall or stuck to the floor, right?
Except it would just be robots. It wouldn't be as interesting to watch.
I don't care, Danis. It would still be very interesting. So I would say overall, I mean, like the event itself, it was good.
How was the trade dinner?
Trade dinner was great. It was about on par for what
We
it
had
normally
the
is. Like the
Starna
foods.
Gloss, and then we had obviously John and those guys with us,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, it was basically Keith and all of us together at the
Nice.
table.
Yeah, it's.
And
I mean,
it was good.
It was
I would
good.
say it was kind of. Did it feel extra long this year?
it did feel pretty long this year. I don't know if it was just that was how it was, but me and Jack, we were staying entertained. We did a bunch of fun stuff,
Yeah.
but. I think the big thing from the show is that there was a lot of brands there, a lot of brands
Yeah.
I haven't never seen before, a lot of great.
There's a lot of brands this year.
a
supposedly.
lot of great brands.
Yeah.
I've never heard of them, and I got to go and smell a bunch of stuff, which is really cool. I got to make my own quick detailer at Infinity Wax. There's a bunch of stuff I got to do that was really fun, along with meeting everybody else. And Dane Dane held the ground down with all the live videos. I mean, he was going through, and me and him were knocking those out. And then
you
Jimmy,
can see him, yeah, they're still out there.
And Jimmy,
actually, a lot of people watched him this year. I was happy to see. Mm-hmm. About 1,500 on any of those videos, so we're good.
Jimmy was doing good, and then I don't know. I mean, for the most part, though, yeah. Can you think of anything else to note about the show?
No, yeah, I found it interesting. At the same time, I don't think that we're kind of in a weird place in
this
detailing.
I was just going to say, this was a short trip for you guys.
Yeah.
Normally, these trips have other things attached to them or are,
this trip was originally going to include a whole foray into Germany and all this other stuff.
Normally there's other stuff added, and Waxstock's kind of the icing on the cake. We look at that as kind of the, we get to relax, we get to just enjoy ourselves. This was a different feature for you guys in the sense that you're going over just for this.
It was the focus, and the other things were like tangential, but they weren't necessarily super big focal point. Like the Morgan Factory was a fun diversion, but it was not the point of the trip.
Right. Yeah.
What was funny though is that while this trip was technically shorter, it felt very long, and we couldn't figure out why it felt so long. You know what I'm saying? Like
at times there were times
some times
where it felt
pretty
like
long. But no, the trade dinner was good. We had the casino night. That was a good time. Mm-hmm. Everybody got along. Everybody was just all kind of hanging out.
It was muggy everywhere.
The one difference is that this year there wasn't as many. There was a lot of other brand reps there, but just ones that we haven't met before. But last year,
it was a lot of people we weren't necessarily as familiar with.
Yeah, last year, how there was been Mike Phillips would have been there, or maybe some other.
So many people have changed companies in the last couple of years. Everything is just
Dr. Beasley's now.
Everything is all shifted around. It's kind of weird. But what I was going to say was detailing is kind of in a weird place right now where, okay, in years past, you usually had some great big new innovation, something that somebody was throwing out there that was okay, this is, I hate when people say game changer, but it happens. Somebody throws something out there and you're yes. Whereas this year it kind of felt like not everybody's doing the same thing, but I didn't see anything that I hadn't seen before. And I didn't feel like I was getting a taste of anything new or a preview of something new. And it's not a mark against anybody who was doing the stuff that they were doing. It's just I feel like detailing, not stagnant, but we're just kind of moving slowly right now. Yeah. And I'm not seeing the new, the stuff that maybe would give you a spark of inspiration or something.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was a good time, though. So after that, we ended up leaving Coventry and going down to the Moxie, right, for a couple days.
Back down to London.
Back down to London. And during that time, me and Dane and Jimmy went off on our own adventure to go check out some London scenery. We know Sid and Keith and Josh went off with
Windsor Castle.
John Holt to go see Windsor Castle, and then to also go see Clean and Shiny. And then obviously we went down with Jack, and we got to go check out the Stern Gloss detailing showroom. It's also
studio,
which is also Alex's actual detail shop, and that was awesome as well. And that was really cool.
The thing that you guys pointed out is in England, it seems like when you drive places, it feels very long. Just a simple drive to just a town a little ways over takes an hour and a half, whereas for us it's 15, 20 minutes maybe kind of thing. But here it's just oh wow, we are going on a road trip.
Well, Jack, for example, Jack was we're just going to drive down to my, down to my cousin's. We're going to go shoot some videos there. We go, awesome, sounds good. Dude, we jumped in the car with Jack, and we had no idea it was going to be an over 3-hour drive to get to this place.
Yeah.
And
he didn't have the Tiguan anymore. We were in the back of a little X3.
And I guess what's interesting is everybody's totally fine with driving that that long, right? Which
it's just a fact of life. It's just a fact of life,
right? Whereas we would say we're almost to Salt Lake City. We're in a different state.
You assume because you're on a country that's an island, you're we'll get places quick. It'll be it's not like that at all.
Not that at all. And so we ended
it's all these little windy country roads that get you from place to place. The freeway is interesting, but
so that was a super late night for us. We got picked up and we were there super late.
And Jimmy, so funny. The whole time he'd been complaining about the food on the trip. He gets McDonald's one time because the guys ordered McDonald's while they're all sitting at that shop, and he goes, "This is better than the McDonald's we have at home. What is going on?" He all had a little mini freak out because of that.
Yeah, no, that McDonald's was actually crazy good. We were all about it. We were loving it, as you could say. But after that, though, we'd finished up like our last day there.
Well, they had Lola the Shop Dog, which I took tons of pictures of. You see it in the thumbnail.
You'll see the garage tour here.
There is a garage tour coming up, so you'll be able to see the actual tour of Alex's facility, the Starting Glass setup. Really cool arrangement that they've done with a relatively small space, but they've done a lot with it, so it's really cool.
Yeah.
The thing I was going to say is about the last day. Because those guys went to Windsor Castle, and then we did the Stjarna thing. Then when it came down to it on the second to last day, basically those guys kind of had a freebie, and I wanted to take you guys to see London, but you were really not having it. Like, you guys were just like, I don't know, I'm done. I just want to stay in here. And I was like, okay, I'm going to break you guys out of your, melancholy, whatever this is. We're going to come up with something clever. So I found a rooftop bar and grill, cafe, in downtown London. 10 stories up. You get to view the whole city. You get to see all the landmarks. And I thought, this is cool. Not something that anybody else would have ever picked for us, but I'm like, screw it. I want to do something fun and different that these guys wouldn't expect. And it was a way to kind of snap Jimmy out of going home. And it's like, all right, no, we're going to do this. And sure enough, it worked. Like, we get up there. Food was fantastic. The view was beautiful. The whole thing was really cool.
Incredible.
It's like the nicest bathrooms I've seen in any place.
Marble, full walled front door. Everything was black marble, but the bathroom was dead silent.
It was impressive. So the place is called Radio Rooftop in London, and just even the vibes. The second you're looking at all these, surface level street businesses and stuff, and then there's this one little doorway in the side of the building. I'm like, I think that's it. And it just said radio on it. So we're like, okay. We walk in, it goes underground, and we're like, okay. And it turns really dark, and all of a sudden you get to the elevators, and it's all candles lighting the elevators and stuff. Yeah. Some real vibes going on there. And they're looking, going, okay, this is promising. And then we get up, and sure enough, the view is amazing. But it came off a little bougie. I was worried we weren't going to be able to get in because they literally had a dress code listed on the website.
And you
but
had
I said,
dress for the dress code?
Dane was wearing that.
I was wearing... I put on a button-up, but at the same time still had shorts and everything on. I thought, let's just risk it, see what happens. And sure enough, they let us in. They were extremely nice, gracious, and it was very fun people watching because there were some definitely bougie people around us having little engagement parties stuff. And I was like, okay, this is fascinating. But no, we got some good pictures up there that I'll share in the group later, and I think it was just a nice little change of pace for him. And then on the way back, because it took a while to get down there. It took about an hour and 20 minutes just to get to downtown London, despite only being 12 miles away. So I was like, all right, just this once, I'm going to splurge. I'm going to get you a Lux Uber on the way back. I'm going to do it once because we've been really good at not spending money on this trip. Saved it up for just such an occasion. So I ride in the front of this BMW 7 Series, but these guys got the back. And suddenly, their tune changed a lot. After this brunch setup, and then they sit in the back of this thing, they got a little screen.
Life is good, man.
They were able to control a massage and heat functions on their seats with the recliner. And I'm like, okay, you guys done complaining now? You better be having a good time. I turned into the dad of the trip, and I was like...
Good job.
You're going to listen.
Oh, my gosh.
Good job.
Have fun, damn it.
Dane was, or Jimmy was actually looking at prices for 7 Series BMWs as he's in the back.
He was very into it.
He goes, I love this. This is the best thing ever. So, no, it was, so the ride back was good. And then on the night before the flight, we did get it. We were able to make changes to our flight to get us out of that seat of 4 rows in the middle and got us on the outer edges there, which is really cool.
You all had aisle seats, basically?
Yes, we had aisle seats. And, I went to the airport, got everything loaded up. Everybody was really excited just to get home. And
did you enjoy the 3:00 flight again? The flight, because your flight was at 3:00. So, did you enjoy waking up, having that time, noon time? Because you didn't have to check out of the hotel till noon.
I liked having a little.
Did you enjoy
of a buffer? I think for them, they could have gone either way.
Either way.
Okay.
I mean,
I liked it.
If I woke up and said, "Hey, you're getting out of here right now," it'd have been cool. If you said, "Hey, you have some time to hang out," I said, "Cool." I mean, it would have been either way for me.
I just like it as an opportunity to get around, stretch your legs, walk around, whatever, until you got to get on a plane.
Yeah, the main reason is because of the time period.
Yes.
Like the getting back home. Yeah. That gives you most amount of time.
So then
you get home the same time.
We took our flight back. The flight back was mercifully cooler, way nicer all around. It was the same essential plane and setup and everything, but The AC actually functioned on it, so that was good. Everything was just better on the trip back, which was a nice way to end a trip. Because usually, you know how it is. Whenever you're ending a trip, everyone's kind of punchy and just like, let's get home. So made the trip back to Seattle, and then you guys, of course,
Dane drew the short straw.
To hop on your plane and leave me and Keith.
Poor
and
Dane.
Keith and I just sat at the airport bar, and he sat with me for like half an hour, and then I still had like 2 hours to go before my flight left. So I sat there in the airport by myself for close to 3 hours just waiting to go home.
Poor Dane got hosed. Basically, we had 2 flight changes or 3 flight changes.
Jeff was able to get 3 seats on a sooner flight home to Boise.
Yeah.
But there were 4 of you.
Right. Well, it was funny because it was actually completely up to chance. He had been talking on the back end on a phone call with some people who worked at Delta on the back end and stuff, and they're like, oh yeah, we were able to transfer all these people over except one person during the transfer wasn't able to get there in time, a Dane Hennon, and I'm just like, oh, okay. So I didn't volunteer for it, but at the same time I was like, all right, it's fine. These guys wanted to go home. It's all right.
Yeah.
So I made the most of it. I had myself a salmon sandwich at the bar, and it was very good. But
very good, Dane.
Just,
you enjoyed some flavor. Flavor Town USA. So, anyways, we ended up getting home midnight, or not midnight, 9:30, whatever it was. What time did we get home?
You got home about 9:30. Dane got home about midnight.
Yeah, so we got home about 9:30. And, I mean, that was pretty much it. Got home, and that was when, wrapped up everything. So, overall, I think we got some stuff done over the trip. We got to see some cool things. You guys will see some video footage from everything coming out here shortly.
We'll also have the show video that Jimmy's going to put together. Apart from the actual tour, he took a lot of video during the show, so we'll be able to get you a nice compilation kind of showing more of the details there in case you want to see something done with the eye of Jimmy. It's kind of fun. So
nice. I think that's it, Dane. We got a meeting here in another hour or so.
Yeah, we got some stuff to do.
Close her up.
So anyway, I want to thank you all for those of you who watched today. And for those who watch later, thank you as well. Please, if you could, before you leave today, click the like button. Helps us out. Helps you out by helping us out. Because then we're able to continue doing this because we know people like it. All right, so with that said, that's it for today, but we will be coming back for Q&A Thursday later this week, so you can look forward to that, where we answer your detailing questions. That's right, that's what we do. So anyway, guys, have a great week. We'll catch up with you on Q&A Thursday. Don't do anything we wouldn't do. We'll see you later.
See ya.